People have been put into this phase of online education, whether they wanted it or not, because of COVID reasons. People have been talking about webinars and online activities and education and classes and all that. From some very famous online tutorials to online activities to online universities to online certification programs to such people have been knowing about these things, but never anybody believed that the whole classroom would be shifted to the online platform. But now, by seeing the way it is happening, anybody could confidently conclude that it is actually possible to take the classroom onto the online platform. But is it actually possible for everyone to benefit from an online educational platform or online classroom is a big question, because a lot of children have found it quite advantageous for them to stay away from the online device and do everything else and take it a little lightly, because they are not even sure of when the exams are going to be, how they're going to be evaluated, and they could actually blame it on the technology or the bandwidth or the speed of the data or to the device that they're using or the disturbance at home or not having people to advise them and so many things. So ultimately, I don't think that the online education is making students continue to be serious about education, and that's going to be a very, very detrimental thing. Computer education could have actually gone online, or even something like coding or a lot of these things which really don't require any kind of human interaction. But when you're talking about poetry, language, history, you're talking about science, you're talking about experiments and so on and so forth, you really need a real-time experience. Otherwise, it's going to be extremely impossible. And the biggest problem is that because there is no visual interaction apart from some PPT that's being shown, or maybe a teacher speaking in a drone, or maybe there is some kind of an audio, and that is going to be the biggest pitfall, because human beings as such cannot listen to anything for more than 3 minutes, even if you try very hard, because you just tend to pass it by. So it will become extremely difficult for the teacher on the other side to watch the students, to have eye contact, to observe every child with a lot of pertinence, and also to give that kind of impetus as well as attention and emphasis, and to get the child to participate and to get the child to respond and to focus on a particular child, to concentrate, to look at the child. There's so many things that can actually happen in a classroom. To compare computer education or some online activity or an online learning session to online classroom that's being touted as being an alternative to real-time education, real classroom education, is nothing but preposterous. Online education has been brought into force not because anybody wanted it, because they did not have any other alternative. Because the schools are being shut and children could not go to schools and parents were not confident enough to send their children to schools, they had to have some educational activity, because parents obviously, because they had paid the fees and they were so proud of their children being in a certain class, they wanted at least some educational activity to happen. As a no-go kind of an option, they resorted to this online activity. It's not because that was considered as the best option available or that was an alternative to classroom education, or that was really going to do what the real classroom could actually do to a child. When there has been a debate for such a long time about homeschooling, home tutors, home tuition, and home education and home learning and things like that, and when so many people who could even afford it did not think of it as being very beneficial, and they sent their children to these real classrooms where children could interact with others and have a teacher standing in front of them, though with a lot of experimentation and innovation and changes and things like that. Why would they ultimately, like at the drop of a hat or like almost overnight accept online education. I'm sure when it comes to real school education, most people would want it. Already a lot of parents are considering sending their children to classrooms, but the only worry is COVID. It's nothing to do with not wanting real time or school or real classroom education for their children. As I told you, online education is not the real alternative at all. It is just an option. And that option is not feasible for every parent and every student. It is possible only for people who can afford a proper device, afford connectivity, afford good data, afford that kind of an environment, afford electricity, afford to be in the area where there is good signal, afford to understand, afford to comprehend, who can actually benefit from online education perhaps, and they are themselves not paying so much attention because they also get tutored otherwise. I have seen myself that a lot of parents who are well-to-do and they are giving this option of online education to their children because their children's schools are into it. They are also giving parallel, complementary and also auxiliary education to their children by getting tutors home and also getting them exposed to so many other kinds of learning, other certification programs and so on. But the people who are really at a disadvantage are those people who cannot afford all these things. Even to get a new mobile phone is a big thing for a lot of parents, and they are supposed to get connectivity, they are supposed to get good data, they are supposed to have enough electricity or electricity all the time to charge their phones, to a lot of things which becomes extremely difficult for a lot of middle class and poor parents. But education is not just for the rich people. It is more important for poor people that they get educated so that there is some kind of a social change. So if ordinary people cannot afford online education, the government has to step in and be the great equalizer and get every child to get the same kind of education, or at least they should be able to provide those kinds of devices, data, electricity and all those things, and also the environment for the child to sit. Every child cannot have a private room or a room to study. A lot of people may not even have a separate room for the child to study, and if the child has to get into online education for about 4 to 5 hours a day, where will the child sit? Most parents cannot even afford to give a proper study table and a chair to a child because they can't really, find that kind of financial resources. And even if they have a little bit of money, they can't find a corner in the house where they can actually provide this. And they may have to get the wiring done to, not just the wiring, but about getting the right light to be focused onto the book or the study material and to place the device and so many things. The child can't hold the phone all the time because that's actually beyond the ability of a child. So considering all these things, the government has to do something about it very seriously. Otherwise, a lot of children are going to become averse to education itself, because this is going to be a very tedious and very difficult and very uninteresting exercise, which is not going to be productive at all. The government had to do something, because the government could have not just said that there was not going to be any education at all, and parents would find it very difficult to keep their children at home without them, with them not doing anything at all. So the government had to. The government was not very much in favor, but I would not agree with the fact that the government was not interested because the children would be sitting in front of a computer screen. Children sit in front of a computer screen even otherwise. Children sit in front of a TV screen for a longer time. Children play with mobile phones, but only when it comes to education. I don't think there's a special thing that happens with these screens that only during online education it affects the eyes or the brain or whatever. That is downright silly. But to standardize the education, I think the government should have already done it. The government doesn't require a year. It has all the wherewithal as well as the resources to the faculty and the facility and the power to get things done. They could have done it even in 2 months, but it doesn't look like the government has even developed one platform or even one device, or thought about giving some kind of a solution for online education. So I think it's been the complete failure of the government. whichever government, wherever. The government has to very seriously consider making the academic year from the 1st of January to 31st December, because I think only that way seriously think about taking children back to school and making it safe for them to study there. And also perhaps not get all the children to attend all the classes at a time. Perhaps, you reduce the number of classes and you reduce the time that a child spends in a school, but you also give a little bit of alternative education. Use TV, use radio, use internet to an extent and all those things, but that's for the government to decide, because there are a lot of intelligent people, a lot of people with all kinds of solutions, a lot of technology available, a lot of free technology that's available, a lot of technological companies that may be interested. But I think the government has to first wake up, and then I think the solution will come through easier than anybody would have ever thought.